It was a normal evening, until everything went dark. The hum of electricity vanished, replaced by an eerie silence. Panic hit as the city outside disappeared into the night. I grabbed my phone, only 20% battery. Suddenly, my apartment felt unfamiliar and unsettling. I stumbled in the dark, knocking over a chair, heart pounding. I needed a plan, fast. With no power, I couldn't rely on technology, just my instincts and what I had. Could I survive 72 hours in this blackout? First, I had to accept the reality. Alone in the dark, I had to make do with what was in my apartment. This was real life, and I had to face it head-on. In this essay, I'll share how I survived a 72-hour urban blackout. It's not about fancy gear, it's about using what you have. I'll cover managing water, food and security, plus the emotional and social dynamics. Urban survival is different. The familiar can turn hostile fast. I'll show you practical solutions and how to make decisions under stress. You'll learn to assess resources, ration water, and stay safe. Building relationships with neighbours is a lifeline. I'll explain why. By the end, you'll see that real skills and community matter most. Once the shock faded, I took stock of my apartment. My food supply, a few cans, some pasta and bread, fresh produce wouldn't last. Water was a bigger concern. The taps were dry. I found a few bottles in the pantry and remembered the water heater as a backup. I gathered every container, pots, pans, even the bathtub for storage. For light and warmth, I had a few candles, limited matches, and extra blankets. Assessing resources was sobering but empowering. I realized I had more than I thought, but needed to use everything wisely. Staying calm and thinking clearly was key. Decision-making in a blackout is tough. Stress clouds judgment. I prioritized water, food, safety. I listed what I had and planned how to ration it. 2 small meals a day, simple breakfasts, heartier dinners. Water was measured out for each day. With security systems down, I kept a low profile. No noise, no visible light, doors locked, windows checked. I set a routine check on neighbours, read by candlelight, get some exercise. Routine helped reduce stress and pass the time. Having a plan gave me control. Every decision mattered. Water was my top priority. Without it, survival was impossible. The water heater held enough to last several days. I filled every container, including the bathtub. I set a strict daily allowance, 2 litres for drinking, the rest for cooking and hygiene. I used disposable wipes to save water and cooked with minimal liquid. Every drop counted. I learned how much I took water for granted. By the end, I'd stretched my supply and stayed healthy. Water management became a daily ritual. Discipline was essential. Security was a real concern with no power. I kept a low profile, no lights at night, curtains drawn. Noise travels in silence, so I moved quietly and avoided cooking at odd hours. My goal: blend in. Be invisible. I double-checked locks and braced the front door with a chair. Flashlight and pepper spray stayed close. These small actions gave me peace of mind. Security in a blackout is about being smart, not paranoid. Staying alert and prepared kept me safe. Balance was everything. In crisis, community is invaluable. I reached out to neighbours, risky but worth it. Most were friendly and concerned. We shared information and resources. One had extra candles, another a radio. We agreed to help each other and meet daily in the hallway. The sense of community was a lifeline. We pooled resources and supported each other. People matter as much as supplies. Finding extra resources was tough. Stores were closed, streets unsafe. I searched the building first and found forgotten water and candles in the basement. I took only what I needed, leaving the rest for others. Venturing outside, I stuck to familiar routes and found a small store with limited supplies. I got extra canned goods and batteries. These finds eased my stress. Discretion and caution were key. Resourcefulness and respect for others mattered most. The blackout was as much a mental challenge as a physical one. Uncertainty and isolation took a toll, even with neighbours nearby. Lack of information was frustrating. Sleep was hard. I managed stress by reading, doing small tasks and talking to neighbours. Sharing fears and stories helped us cope. Human connection was vital. By the end, I was exhausted but relieved. The experience taught me resilience and the power of community. Survival is as much about mindset as resources. Our small community became our greatest asset. We shared food, candles and knowledge. Daily meetings kept us informed and organised. We checked on vulnerable neighbours and formed a network with nearby residents. This grassroots effort made a real difference. Together, we were stronger and more prepared. Survival isn't just about individual preparedness. Collective effort and mutual aid matter most. The blackout taught me valuable lessons. Know your environment, where to find resources, how to navigate safely. Improvisation and adaptability are essential. Real skills matter more than gear. Rationing, securing water, and building relationships proved invaluable. Mindset and resourcefulness are key. Community connections were the most valuable resource. Unity made all the difference. I invite you to try a mini experiment. Spend a day without power. Use only what you have at home and see how you manage. Share your experience with others. Talk to neighbours or friends. Discuss what worked and what didn't. This builds community and prepares us for future challenges. Real survival is about skills, adaptability and community. Learn and grow from the experience. Together we can build stronger, more resilient communities.